Yeah, we have a big ice jam here in the Picture Rocks area. These chunks of ice have been pushed up along the shore here by a massive wall of ice that came flying down the creek here, Muncy Creek. And you can see the ice is just shoved right up underneath this bridge, and up onto the left side here, it's up onto the shoreline as well as up onto the right side, forming kind of a bowl. And there's just piles and piles and piles of foot thick ice stacked right here in the center of the creek.
What's going on, everybody? Storm Chaser Eli Roberts. Here we are right beside Muncy Creek in the small town of Picture Rocks, and we've got another ice jam clogging up things here in Muncy Creek. We're going to get the drone in the air, take a look. It is cold, and there is some wind blowing around the area, and thankfully the wind is less right here in this little protected community of Picture Rocks, but just a few hundred feet above, it is ripping. So I kept the drone a little lower than normal, but I got a good view of this ice jam here in Muncy Creek. This road on the left of the creek is Water Street, and the small town of Picture Rocks has had flooding, some big time floods over the years, unfortunately, and right now we're looking at a ton of ice here in the creek. Hopefully it doesn't lead to any flooding. We're going to have to just wait and see. Alright, we're turning it around. We're going to face west toward the setting sun. And this will give you a good idea of how much ice there is here in the creek. And it's over a half of a mile long, flowing down Muncy Creek from northeast to west and southwest, right underneath the Route 220 bridge and into a very wooded area with a lot of farm fields. But before that, it's got to go through town, and you can see the houses on the left. There's a park on the right and some businesses, but lots of houses, lots of yards, and people anxiously waiting for this to pass without having any kind of flooding. And of course, this is winter. Everything freezes, and with any kind of flooding, that flood water is going to be cold and it's going to freeze and cause even more problems. And here southwest of town, you can see a lot of trees laying down, and they're all pointing in the same direction. Several years ago, a severe thunderstorm blew into the Picture Rocks area with 65 to 75 mile an hour winds and destroyed hundreds of trees, numerous sheds, garages, buildings, ripped flashing off of buildings. And here on the left side of the creek, a little drainage creek, you can see a lot of those trees laying down, and they're going to be a problem come time for that creek to drain out. Here we are coming east and northeast over the creek, and you can see the extent of the ice and the ice jam right there at the bridge. And this is Route 220. A major state road going north through the northern tier of PA into New York State. And you can see just how much ice with some homes on either side. Now that we've gotten a high bird's eye view of this ice jam, let's push that left thumbstick down and lower some altitude here and get a closer look of this ice and see just how big these chunks of ice really are. As we fly low over the big, huge chunks of ice, keep in mind the bank is on the right-hand side here in Muncy Creek, and most of this ice right directly underneath you is on the bank. There's rocks and everything that are normally exposed, especially in low water times, and that should give you an idea of just how much ice we're talking about here. And once this ice does start to move, hopefully it's not one big mass of ice that then stops and dams up the creek. Here we're getting a lot lower, right over top of the ice. I wanted to get a little closer so that you could see that there is water running underneath this ice. And here you can see right in the setting sunlight reflecting on this ice, you can see water flowing. I didn't want to get too much closer because, well, there's not a lot of room here. And I'm risking dropping my drone right down onto this ice. Even though it's only about a foot and a half deep of water, that's still 33-degree water, and I'm not risking hypothermia just to get a drone. And here we'll take one last look, a little bit lower, right over these power lines, of just the amount of ice that's here on the creek. It's very possible this ice actually moves in the middle of the night, or tomorrow, or even the next day, but we are looking at another cold spell, and anything under freezing is going to start freezing again. My hope is a lot of these huge chunks of ice to the right of the middle of the bridge are going to last until late in the spring and just melt off and disappear into the creek. But as you can see here, there's still a lot of ice left in the channel in the center area of the creek that will have to move downstream. And those big chunks of ice can turn sideways, they can tumble, they can break up, and some of them could dam up the water flow, leading to high water rises upstream. It's very important to stay up to date on National Weather Service forecasts and NOAA weather radio alerts that might come over in the middle of the night. Having a NOAA weather radio turned on and set to alert you if a warning is posted is one way and an easy way of saving and protecting your own life or the life of your family. Another ice jam here in eastern Lycoming County on Muncy Creek in the town of Picture Rocks, Pennsylvania. Thanks for watching. We've had a colder than average winter so far here in north central Pennsylvania. Lots of streams and creeks are full of ice. We've already watched one ice jam give way down on the Susquehanna River outside of Muncy just a few weeks ago. Are we going to be able to see this ice jam give way? I really hope so. A lot of those chunks of ice are really big and likely will be damming up as they go down the creek. Is this going to bring flooding concerns? Very likely. Hughesville, Muncy, and even upstream into Picture Rocks likely could see some water increases and maybe some flooding, but it's too early to tell. Until next time, I am Storm Chaser Eli Roberts. Thanks for watching.